your admission into PWI University as a member of the class of 2020.
Oh my God, I got in. I'm going to PWI, and this black girl is going to show them what it means to be young, gifted, and black.
And there were non-believers who stood in confusion, thinking that their educational destiny should be sought on the academic grounds of those institutions whose design was to serve everyone but them.
They stood in confusion, thinking that their educational dreams could not be filled in those classrooms of color, whose foundation was laid on the blood, sweat, and tears of their ancestors.
But messengers came forth to tell the story of a land inhabited by black geniuses, a land of intellect, where a banner valiantly waves and cries from the saturated soil.
The blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge.
They came forth to preach the gospel of truth.
Yes.
For all of those who stood in confusion, they told the story of the HBCU.
The creation of the historical black college and university, written by Dr. Mark G. Henderson, with an adaptation of James Weldon Johnson's The Creation.
We are contestant number 6.
I love my H in front of my B, my B in front of my C. I love my HBCU. I love my H in front of my B, my B in front of my C. I love my HBCU. Got me singing, oh, oh, HBCU. Got me singing, oh, oh, HBCU.
See, college for me had to be a place where I was more than just a student, no.
Yes.
More than just a guy who sat third row center.
It had to be a place where I mattered. A place where at the end of the day, I would learn more about myself than I ever would have anywhere else. And the only place I could be sure I would gain this experience was at an
HBCU.
You come from a long line of success stories, a lineage of people who took a little and did a lot.
HBC.
You are our fountain of knowledge, who taught us about those architectural geniuses, those definitively dark-skinned Egyptians who gave us astronomy, mathematics, and literature long before classical Greece started training for the Olympics.
HBC.
You are our educational mothers who have taught us since 1837 what it is like to be a captive in this dark skin.
When the world tried to hush us,
HBC.
You gave us the voice of a king that allowed us to speak louder in silence, all the way from Birmingham jail to the monumental malls of democracy.
And when the world tried to press us down, you taught these cage birds how to rise and soar like eagles on the poles of the morning.
when the world tried to deny us, you prepared our feet with the preparation of gospel of peace so that we might march to turn civil wrongs into civil rights.
Ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around, turn me around, turn me around.
ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around, I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom's land. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom's land. The HBCU experience.
I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood my whole life. I was always like one out of three black people in every class, and I didn't really like me because I was comparing myself to the girls around me.
My black skin was like a mugshot that made the whole world think that I was undesirable, aggressive, and a fascinating and exotic choice for the bedroom, but not the best choice to be prom queen or the sorority girl or little miss anything. So instead of taking my rightful place in school plays or family
until I stepped foot on the campus of my undergraduate institution. It was at that HBCU that I turned 400 years of pain into pride. As for the first time, I was loving the soft contours of my African nose, my full, luscious lips, and my round amber behind that black men call my onion, because it brings tears to the eyes.
I began to love the skin I'm in because it's mine. It's the only skin I'm ever gonna get. That day, I knew what they meant when they screamed from the depths of their bellies, and they said it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
One more time, y'all.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
My high school counselor told me that I wasn't smart enough to go to college. Not even being told to go to a community college. I was told to go straight to the military.
Attention! Left, right, left, company, hop!
And there I go, taking my 125-pound ass down there, ready to sign up and protect the world.
But right before my signing day, my school had a college fair, and the guest speaker was the president of the United Negro College Fund. And honestly, I didn't understand much of what that brother was saying, but I knew that he was talking to me.
Young black minds, I want you to know that you have a powerful mind that only you have the potential to unlock unlimited. This morning, before I came to you, I asked one of my colleagues who works in the biology department, what makes the mind so powerful? And his response was,
The mind is a cell-balancing 28-month adaptive-based bypass. It has an electrochemical reduction plant that's integrated with segregated states, a special energy abstraction storage battery.
The mind has 62,000 miles of capillaries with a whole extraordinary complex mechanism.
It is guided with exquisite precision. It has a telescopic and microscopic rangefinder.
It has a stethoscope with a main fuel intake and exhaust system.
as you can see, the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
As I said, I didn't know a damn thing he was saying, but he was using them words. And I knew that he was talking to me. And at that moment, I knew that I was HBCU bound.
The HBCU experience. It taught me how to carry myself with dignity and respect.
How to learn how to walk proudly as a man in my blackness.
Shoes tied up,
Pants pulled up.
Shirts buttoned up.
hair cut up.
Attitude cleaned up.
And every time I walk into a room, I'm guaranteed to have the ladies
Looking up.
Because we are HBCU educated black men.
Young black kings in search of our good thing, one of God's greatest gifts.
Me. You see, as a black lady, an HBCU taught me how to be fierce.
Taught me how to be fit
And taught me how to be fine.
and to always keep in mind that it's not what you show.
It's what you know.
You see, we have been blessed with these treasures in abundance, man. You see, our struggle made it easy to give birth to a land not Bill, not George, and not even Barack can do things like we can.
We are sisters of the sun. We are queens of the sea.
We are the daughters of captive mothers and great-granddaughters of royalty.
We are the forbidden fruit that Adam couldn't get enough of. Honey, we are the reason Thomas Edison created that light bulb.
Holding our femininity as it glistened in the light. We are the reason Rosa Sachs and Fannie Lou fought with all her might.
We are HBCU educated black women. God's only divas by design.
But see, I wasn't just any diva. And I wasn't just any king.
But you see, we were destined to take the world by storm.
God created us to be different.
God created us to make a difference.
God created us and called us HBCU.
And God stepped out
Step on out there, God.
and stood in the midst of those United States and the homeland of the free.
The free. And he looked around and saw
and bold.
And as far as the academic eye of God could see, whiteness covered everything. Whiter than the snow-covered Rockies and the heart of winter.
Then God turned his face toward the plains of Pennsylvania. Then God smiled, and whiteness rolled up on one side, and Cheney University stood shining on the other side. And God said,
That's good. Then God reached out and took that light, that institution for colored youth, and God rolled that light around in his hands until he made this nation shine through with young black educators teaching, whom he thought were the unteachable.
And he set those black beacons of educational suns ablazing throughout these United States.
And the light that was left in the Alleghanies of Pennsylvania, God gathered them up in a shining ball and planted against the darkness of Lincoln, spangling the word of academia with Lincoln University.
Then down between the darkness and the light, he hurled a world promise for American men and women of African descent.
And God said, That's good.
Then God himself stepped down.
Come on down here, God.
And Cheney was on his right hand, and Lincoln was on his left. The stars, oh yes, those black seeds that they nurtured were clustered about, and he held them in the hollows of his hands.
And God walked with them. He talked with them. And he assured them that they were his and he was theirs.
And as he walked,
Where he trod, his footsteps hollowed the valleys out and bars the mountains up, creating space and places for other HBCUs who would save generations yet unborn.
Then he stopped and looked and saw that the land inhabited by his great creation was cold.
Those northern winds blew, and even God knew that to be black meant to be very hot.
So, God stepped down to the southern edge of these United States.
And he spat out Grambling,
Grambling,
Morehouse, and Talladega.
He batted his eyes and Shaw was there.
He clapped his hands and fists began to sing.
And ooh, did they sing?
and black Jesus began to sprout up like tumbleweeds. The waters above that earth came down, those cooling waters came down, providing growth to seeds that will stand the test of time.
Then the green grass sprouted, and the Booker T's and WEBs took root.
And God smiled again, and Howard University appeared, and curled itself around the shoulders of all the others.
Then God raised his arm, waved his hand over the sea and over the land, and he said,
Bring forth! Bring forth! And quicker than God could drop his hand. Winston-Salem, Bethune-Cookman, Dillon and Prairie, you had all taken their places.
And God said, That's good.
Then God walked away. He looked away. He looked at all that he had. He looked at his grand. He looked at his prayer
added new meaning to college football games.